Good evening, everyone. I tell you, I don't even, I don't know how to describe it. Downtown Columbus tonight is peaceful. Very peaceful. So this is High Street here. I'm at the intersection of Broad and High. And there's some protesters here, but it is so peaceful tonight. Let me show you why. This is a big part of it. We've been seeing this a lot.
Y'all control this board?
Do what?
Channel 10 control this board?
No, I think we do the ticker, but not that. Why?
Because I wanted to know why we wasn't running no names from Columbus and from Ohio.
Oh.
This right here is the cattle park. But there's a whole bunch of names behind that right here in the city.
I'm not. It may be Orange Barrel. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who does that. I don't believe that's us though.
Are you going to document the National Guard using live firearms tonight?
If I see it. So tonight, we've seen a lot of this. A lot of police officers mingling in the crowd, talking to people. This is the first night I've seen. I was out here Thursday, I was out here Friday. This is the first night I've seen where this intersection has not just been overtaken by the mounted unit or the bicycle unit. Now, it's not to say there's not protesting. There's still a protest. It's just in a very peaceful way tonight. No peace! No peace! Police! Such a drastic change in the most beautiful way. From Thursday, Friday, this past weekend. This is the Statehouse lawn. People gathering, talking, having that important conversation to move on, to heal, to understand different perspectives, to understand where everyone is coming from with their argument. Getting a better understanding for just why people feel and think the way they do. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Well, where do you right? No, they might already shoot. You're right. They might already shoot. Where do you think? I stay on South Beach. You said right. I stay away from you. You said right. I stay away from you. What you say? You South
So earlier today, I talked with Jerry Rodriguez with Stonewall Columbus. He was saying that they were wanting Police Chief Thomas Quinlan to resign. And then I was fortunate enough to also talk with the chief, and he said, I'm here to do a job. He said, I respect other people's opinions. I'm here to do a job. Help me, help you kind of attitude.
So if you would take a knee with us, you'll set an example. You would set an example for everybody. If you take a knee with us, if you take a knee, I'll shoot for you. I'll shoot somebody for you. Take a knee with us.
Still a peaceful protest. That's what's happening. Have a good night.
See you, man. This, obviously, the undertones of this protest, of the protest that we've seen since last week, for a very serious matter. Inequality, very serious matter. That's what brought everyone out here. Tonight, this feels more like a block party, because the first night I was here on this corner, stuff being thrown, pepper spray going out. This is beautiful. Chief Thomas Quinlan.
I would say maybe we'll stop right here.
Yes, so it comes out with wherever you want to stop at, we'll stop.
We'll go wherever.
Oh, the only one we're missing, we'll walk up to the Statehouse.
All I care about is that we don't have to, worry about what you guys can say. Hey, you go on.
Good, how are you? Good to see you.
That's fine, sir. That's fine. We'll just make sure that everything's
We're getting ready to move a bit too.
Chief Quinlan, what are we looking to do right now?
We're going to walk from here up towards Goodale Park, and then we're going to say a prayer together, and then we're all going to peacefully go home, and I'm going to listen.
My last question for you, why is it important for you to be here right now?
Because it's time to listen. I'm here to listen.
Chief Quinlan,
I'm here to support.
do you believe that it is
Chief Quinlan going going on a walk with these protesters tonight. He says now is the time to listen. Not sure of the path that they're taking, but he said they're going to be walking and then saying a little prayer.
I think everyone's a good lesson. But you shouldn't have to be interviewed.
She's right here. Hey, that wasn't cheap then. Where's she at?
No, what?
She forced you to walk on. She gave me a hard time. Big night.
Sometimes.
You had me up on the steps being an activist out here.
I say, but when there's confrontation time, things are ugly. Things are violent.
Oh, so
it's
that's
never
the big
pretty.
thing.
They like it.
We had deputy names. I went to the rest of the year, and none of you
This walk should be getting... Yeah, man. Oh, there we go. It's back up now. So sorry about that, guys. I had a little connection problem. If you're just joining us, Columbus Police Chief Thomas Quinlan is getting ready to march with protesters. I asked him, why is it important for you to be out here tonight? And he told me it's not. He said it's not a time to speak, it's a time to listen.
Hey, excuse me.
Are y'all ready? Y'all can talk and walk. Talk and walk.
Many in the past few days have called for the resignation of Chief Quinlan. I talked with him today, and keep in mind he's only been the chief for about 6 months now, and he says that he's here to do a job, and he is going to do that job, and he asking for all of the community to have a say, to help him, help his department. And you are seeing his department walk with him. Officers are in this crowd tonight. If you'd have told me 4 days ago this is what I was going to see on Monday night, I would not have believed you. Ever since the chief got here, he has not stopped having conversations with protesters. As soon as he got out of his cruiser, he started having conversations. See officers on this side walking in unison with protesters.
Just to hear the Lord's Prayer.
Knowing what we saw out here on Thursday and Friday, how incredible is it to see this tonight?
Honestly, it's really beautiful. It's beautiful to see that we're able to be out here with no drama, no casualties. But honestly, it's still a work in progress. So this is just first day. We're gonna have to keep going because it can't stop. Because today was the first day of the next few days, and we're just gonna keep it up. And as long as the police have our back and they're supporting us, we're gonna support them.
Look to your left. What do you see?
I see police walking with us peacefully. I don't see any gas being thrown. I don't see any tear gas. I'll be right there. I ain't going nowhere.
Thank you. Thank you.
She got my shit too. Man, actually for my name, did a random officer like somebody just to call you, can I get your name and number?
So we continue to walk down North High. Got the police chief back there. I'm telling you. This did not seem possible 4 days ago.
You see me stay out there and I said, whoever the fuck calls us, see me. I go there, they people like that. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. I have a don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Flip the camera around. I'm going to show you the bicycle unit.
Oh, they're like fireworks back there. People can't say it.
Yes, sir!
Man, I don't give a fuck what you're trying to do. I want to stay
Yes, Pat, I'm very glad I'm not being pepper sprayed tonight. While we're talking about that, though, let me just say that wasn't about me. Of course, I certainly don't wish that on anyone, but I felt I had to be as close as I was to really let you all experience and understand what was happening that night.
Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Dark Floyd! Dark Floyd!
They can't even say George Floyd. Why are they walking?
I was talking to an officer earlier, and I said that I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I said this seems like a turning point tonight, and he agreed. He didn't want to assume that the worst is over, but this is certainly good to see tonight after the last 4 days and nights of protesting and pepper spray and tear gas and knee knockers and water bottles being thrown and shoes and eggs being thrown. I'm not sure exactly where this is going, but I did talk to Chief Quinlan before this started, and he said that we're going to walk a little bit, we're going to pray, and we're going to listen. And I asked him, I said, "Sir, why is it important that you're here?" And he said, just like I said, it's time to listen. Where's Bob?
Lost him. He started well with us. I think he got short. We got to pull off to the side and see if we can catch him. That'd be nice.
These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These racist cops have got to go!
This is remarkable to see. Protesters in the street without, I haven't seen one officer, at least I haven't, in riot gear. Oh, what building is that? That's the Hyatt Regency. Hyatt Regency lighting up in a heart tonight.
You'll be able to catch him when you go into the walk.
Not sure where Chief Quinlan is. In fact, the only, if police are not in the march, they are blocking the streets to allow this march to go on.
Young people, that's what they following us for. If this was another city, they'd be getting their ass beat right now in this crowd like this, man.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they definitely would. You're asking. They definitely would.
Bullhorn. Please around me. Y'all calm that down around me. Hey, can I get a bullhorn? Who has a bullhorn? We need a bullhorn! Hey, listen, before they come, I need everybody right now to get down on one knee, get down on your knee. We're going to state the Lord's Prayer in unison. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in unison. Everybody get down on your knees. Down on your knees. Down on your knees. Please. Down on your knees. Fists up in the air. We about to quote the Lord's Prayer right here. We about to quote the Lord's Prayer right here. This is it. This is it. They are us. We're going to join them when we listen to the Lord's Prayer. Stuck down. Let's go. Our Father. Who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy holy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Daily bread.
This is just the start. Gotta start from the inside out.
Hold on. You're all right. You're all right.
Hey, right now, these people are
It's not that nigga that stand me on my shit, you bitch.
So all of this going on right now, what do you see as a resolution?
Resolution? Yes. Resolution is needed, obviously, when we're out here all working together to show support for each other. However, it's a two-way street. We have to back up what we have said.
You have to follow
As police officers.
Yes, as a police officer.
Yes. Yes. And just by the respect that was given to us, when we didn't have to be given this today, all of these people were willing to march with us when everybody in this country is working. I don't care if you're the police, not the police you like, or not. The bottom line is this. We have to meet you, not where we want to, but where you are, in order for you to trust us. And where is that? Well, that's $1 million question, right? Yes. You tell me, that's a rhetorical question. I believe that we are out here to state accountability for police officers who have been proven to abuse their power. Absolutely. So, absolutely, I believe that this will never be better until there's true accountability made for specifically police officers abusing power. If a man like George Floyd has to listen to you, tell him to get on the ground and go completely out of control, and at any point, if he retaliates at any point, from there on, it is proven through history that man will have all the right to do whatever he has after that. But the vice versa, no one is policing the police officers. And I don't expect us to get new badges. I just expect us to have more accountability for that situation that happened. And you're absolutely right. And I know it's easier said than done, and I know everybody standing here would not believe what I'm telling you, but I'm telling you, for the 16 years I've been doing this job, there is not one person that hates bad cops more than other cops. And I'm telling you, now the cops that will stand by and watch something like that, they're just as culpable as the man who had his knee on there. Correct. They are just as culpable. Any police officer on my department who witnesses any type of misconduct, even if they don't put their hands on someone, or bad arrest, or whatever, they are culpable. Correct. And we have finally gotten to a point, I believe, where they now know we're all on notice. Really? I don't agree with vandalism. I don't agree with the criminal damaging. But I am all for protest. Hold on. Let me get this across. I'm all for people having a voice. Yes. And for the first time, in my opinion, in this country's history, you now have our attention. What are you doing? We're talking about nationwide. I'm 41 years old, okay? And a little bit of a history buff. This has never happened across the nation. Correct. It's happening. We have support in London, meaning the public, against police brutality. Right. Against the wrongdoing that has happened for many years. To black people, to white people, to everyone, men, women, young, old. But exponentially to black people. Just need to make that a point. Exponentially. There's a lot of disproportion in the things the way they happen. That's what we were talking about. That's what we were just talking about. It starts. It literally starts right now. So y'all haven't been talking about this for years. I'm sorry. I'll get to you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me just finish. So my question to you is, why are those officers that are clearly, through your understanding, the laws that you've been taught, why are they not arrested yet? You're talking about Minnesota specifically? Yes. Those other officers that stood by, that you can recognize were not handling their business. You would say that they are bad cops because they dang sure weren't going against the bad cops. Remember, the side that we're on, I'm not in the decision-making business of who gets charged and who doesn't. I do know the Attorney General for Minnesota was on TV today talking about they're reviewing everything, he's taking their time. And he didn't want to speak out of turn, but he firmly believes that may or may not happen. So all you have to do is rely on those people who make those decisions. And remember, those are elected officials, okay? Correct. We're appointed, we're taking over. And how long can a judge be in position at like strike one, strike two? It all depends. To say it's all different. Here's my bigger point. My point is, I can't make political statements because I'm working as a government official. But me as a human being, I get it. It's not a perfect. Highly suggest in 2020, if you're not registered to vote, you exercise your constitutional right to vote. But know what you're voting for. Voting for charges against police brutality.
know that we are fighting for accountability. And if we don't get that, we are still going to be upset. So because of that, we need to focus on that part. We need to focus on getting that word to them, getting that article out, whatever it is. We need to focus on that, and that's when we can take a step towards a real resolution. Because it is proven that if we stay peaceful, the way that they will keep us quiet and destroy our unity is by being aggressive towards us.
You're right. Thank you.
Today there was no violence, no fires, but that curfew was reset today, right? And it was by one person's opinion, the mayor. So we need to find a way to start getting articles and papers and whoever's in power to make a difference with those people. Judges can be elected for many, many years. Plenty of judges that are still in office now have probably been judges since the 1950s, and we know how that ideology was then. So we need to make a change soon. And this is the most progressive generation we've ever had before.
And may I jump in on that? I have a 16-year-old and 14-year-old boys at home. And one of my number one pet peeves is how people in my generation, 40 plus, talk about, oh, this generation ain't good for nothing. Oh, they're attached to their phones. Oh, they're lazy. Oh, they ain't good for nothing. Remember something. In the year 2020, everyone around you, look around you. You have sparked something nationwide that has never happened in the history of this country. I understand most of you don't agree with law enforcement and how things are going. But what I'm telling you right now, I don't agree with the property destruction and the looting and all of that. But the peaceful protests as we stand here today, that's what I'm talking about, to be very clear, has never ever happened nationwide like this. And your generation led that. So think about what I just said. For all of us complaining that you're not good for nothing has started something that has to start and spark that change.
When does the increase in funding come to young black men in neighborhoods that normally don't see police officers come out there? I don't think the perception of law enforcement changes without seeing more of your time out here, because if you look around, it's one of few and I don't think the perception of police changes with the African American community without recruiting any black males out here.
That's a great question. Anybody that knows me knows I'm Southside born and raised. This is my city. I love this city. I could have left years ago. I've stayed here for a reason. I spent 10 years of my career back in the same neighborhood I grew up, standing right on that corner. Because I was once that young black man, single parent household, multiple siblings. My mom doing the best she could to raise me, which, if I'm going to be honest, in our community is very typical. It just is what it is. My father wasn't around, but that's okay. My point to this is I did not have a good relationship with police growing up. Well documented while I'm here. I met a black officer. His name is Alan Blackman. God bless him. He's about to retire. Got 30 plus years on the job. First black Columbus police officer I ever met. Didn't even know him. Honestly, growing up, never saw him in my neighborhood. But when I met him, I realized that literally all cops are not bad. And he kicked so much knowledge to me and said, you can affect change. So that's what I did. I know I can't fix police brutality. I know I can't completely reform everything. But best believe, when I come to work, I can affect the people that work around me. And by me, set an example for those people who don't look like me, who don't sound like me, who didn't grow up like me, can realize, oh wow, I didn't know. Trust me, I've been through it. This is a truth session right now. Okay, I've worked with cops that was like, oh, well, you're not like them. Okay? My point is this. Now, when I walk that same neighborhood, then other young black youth, to answer your question about recruiting and getting more people of color in this uniform, they have to see you walk the walk and talk the talk. By no means am I comparing a young person of color, other ethnicities, backgrounds, to the civil rights movement. But remember this, at one point in this country, we couldn't all stand here together. All these races, all these people from different countries. But it took one person, right, We couldn't even drink out of the same water fountain. But it took one person to say, we can't do this no more. I'm just as equal as the next person. And they say, I'm gonna drink out of that water fountain. Now there was resistance, and eventually segregation goes away.
But giving
so my
us those
point
small
is,
problems doesn't eliminate the true systemic things. Like you can look at so much data and see that there's still a big gap with a lot of stuff. So yeah, you can give us little things so that we don't feel like we're still being oppressed, but the numbers still clearly show it.
Absolutely.
And so my last question to you is, at what point, as a police officer and also a human being, do you say, this is morally wrong, I will not continue to listen to this authoritative figure that is clearly, and I'm not saying that's happening right now, but say justice is not served and we are still protesting and we choose to be peaceful. At one point do the officers decide to say, I'm a human, I'm not going to listen to the authority telling me to push these people with violence and make them go home? When does that divide happen? And I mean, do you see that ever happen?
Yeah, no, I see completely what you're saying. And again, really, in my mind, the only way that's going to happen is for things like this and for people to come to police departments and voice your opinion. You don't necessarily have to protest, okay? The chief of police is standing right there. So he's standing right there. What I'm telling you is this. There are many ways to reach anybody in the police department that will get to him. Every single precinct, there's 20 precincts in this city.
Okay.
They all have what's called a community liaison officer. Some people don't know, some people do know. My point is this. You figure out where you live, if you live in the city of Columbus, and you blow up their phone. You email them. You hold us accountable. Because if you don't, we'll probably stay in the same holding pattern and continue to have the same issue.
So how do we hold you accountable if that person isn't being held accountable by someone else? It's the same situation with police brutality.
You're right. You're right.
We can't hold that person accountable if he doesn't listen to us.
But it starts with you talking. Not just one person.
So it starts with this movement right here, right?
Absolutely.
So then if this is progressive to a true resolution, why at 10 o'clock, when we have been peaceful, are you going to force people out through violence?
Now see,
because the authoritative figure.
That's a question I can't answer.
Exactly, and I understand.
Don't have the ability to make that authoritative call. But just understand.
Well, I asked you a question, not to make a call. I asked you a question.
So to answer that question, because that's a great question, that was enacted not for anybody standing here. It's for the people who consistently did millions of dollars of damage to the city we are standing
What about
in
today,
right now.
What about today?
Right now, it's peaceful. I can't speak for what's going on everywhere else.
Yeah, and I understand.
But I can tell you, as long as that man right there is standing there and everyone is peaceful, there won't be a problem. That's something you might want to take up with our city leadership. But right now, I don't see any reason why, but I'm not in the position to make that call.
So
what do you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and are you going to be someone who has to follow that rule?
As we're peacefully walking to our cars, or is it going to be everybody not going to peacefully walk back to their vehicles before these things? Because as we've seen in media, they come out.
Yeah. So I will tell you this: was anybody out here last night? Were people getting pushed out? I don't know. I genuinely do not know.
Yes,
right on the dot.
Okay. Questions? It hasn't happened this whole time, and I think that's the issue that is causing the violence.
Yes.
We're not holding. You expect us to hold you all accountable, which isn't fair. It's not fair to make the people whose job it is to police, to ask the people whose job is not to police them. It's not our responsibility. We all hold more weight than any one of us combined. It just doesn't have the same impact. My father's a fireman. My grandfather was a police officer. My uncle is currently a police officer. Has been for the last 30, 40 years. The bottom line will always be, you will always have a bigger voice than any one of us. Let alone mine. You were out here peaceful Friday and you saw what whether before rioting, before looting, before any of that. I got shot, I got maced directly in my face. We're trying to keep a bottle away from the police. Now granted, I understand things are scary. I understand a job is scary. But when do we stop blaming when do we stop blaming those whose job it is not and start putting the onus on who it belongs to. That's what I'm saying. I understand. And what's more, I wanted to turn back on what you said earlier with you being a police officer. And I respect what you're doing. I respect everything you're saying.
100%.
But consider that you look like me. I'm light. I'm black. Consider all the little dark-skinned and brown-skinned boys and girls who don't think that you look like them, who don't think that they see police officers. Because when I look up there, I don't see that. I would be scared too. And so the representation is different. And so when I'm standing on the front line, or when somebody else is standing on the front line, and we want to see y'all, we want to see the human, but you can't see the human past the mask, or the badge, or the gun, or the mace, or whatever. How can you expect anybody to react to it? So it's. I think that's what that basis comes out of. $200
You're right. You're taking us back.
Now you have way more views than me.
You're right.
But that doesn't change.
Many of you have asked who that officer is. That is Sergeant James Fuqua, who handles, is the public information officer with the Columbus Police Department. Very moving what he is saying. He's fielding some very difficult questions.
I'm going to have to express that because that's been consistently the million-dollar question right now because I know it. That's all right. That's why I'm here. I'm okay with that. That's what we get paid to do. We are held to a higher authority, right? And we're supposed to uphold to be better than everybody else. So that's all right. I'm just scared on when does that Let me get him right now. Hold on.
When the authority keeps telling you guys to do something that's morally wrong, when does that part come in?
I'm gonna get it.
It's a very terrifying question.
It's a matter of opening up that dialogue, having that conversation.
People watching you. Are you an influencer? Who are you?
I'm with 10 TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was like, damn, dude.
It ain't right. It ain't shirt. It ain't murder.
Hey, where's Bob? Is he back there? It's really fascinating to hear from Sergeant James Fuqua fielding young man's questions about accountability, about someone asked him about how can we get more people of color in the police department so that maybe neighborhoods aren't so that they view officers as one of their own. Really, I can't say it enough. It's really something tonight to see. Yes. It's really, really something. Chief Thomas Quinlan. You may have noticed the crowd as a whole is really has really gone down. All right. Head back up that way.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we are now headed back up High Street. I got to meet back up with my photographer. I lost him in the march, but man, how incredible this was tonight, because last week a completely different story, and to see what we saw tonight, to see the officers, to see just that camaraderie. Wow. I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. I certainly think it feels, at least, that today is a true turning point from where we were as a city. So I'm going to jump off here. We're going to have the latest at 11 o'clock. Angela Reigert is also out here. She is focusing on the protesters tonight. I was actually focusing on Chief Quinlan, and then he showed up. So that worked out. But again, I hope you enjoyed this tonight, because if you've been following the situation in Columbus for the past 4 days, if you've been following the entire George Floyd story, tonight was something worth celebrating. And I can only hope that cities around the country experience what we did tonight. I'll see you guys at 11.